You know, there's a hidden danger lurking inside almost every modern software project. It's this invisible bomb just ticking away that can bring everything to a grinding halt. We're talking about the crazy maze of configuration management, and today we are going to find our way through it.
Seriously, picture this. Your team is heads down, doing their thing, but no one's actually pushing any new code. And yet somehow the whole project just starts to unravel. It just collapses. How in the world is that even possible? Well, this isn't just some made-up story. It's a very real crisis that grows from a problem that's quietly become a monster.
So here's how we're going to navigate this maze together. We're going to start by looking back at a simpler time, before this maze even existed. Then we'll dive into how this illusion of freedom actually led us right into all this complexity. After that, we'll face the invisible dangers head-on before, finally, figuring out how to tame this beast and get out.
Okay, so let's hop in our time machine and rewind the clock. Let's go back to a simpler time, the era of COBOL, when the software world was, let's just say, a whole lot more predictable.
See, back in the day with COBOL, systems were pretty self-contained. Think of it like a walled garden. Everything was managed in-house in a closed environment, and you had very few dependencies. Those pre-built pieces of code you rely on from the outside. But then, Java showed up, and it just blew the gates wide open. We went from these simple systems to wildly complex ones, from a closed little world to an extensible language with a literal universe of external packages. And that changed everything.
But all this newfound power, this freedom, it turned out to be a bit of an illusion. The very thing that made Java so incredible also planted the seeds for a whole new kind of chaos.
Java's extensibility was a total game changer. All of a sudden, developers could just pull in these powerful, ready-made features from brilliant engineers all over the world. Why build something from scratch when you can just plug and play, right? This led to a massive, massive boost in how fast we could build things.
But with all that power came this paralyzing new question. For pretty much anything you can think of, there aren't just one or two options. There are dozens, sometimes hundreds of different packages to choose from. This ocean of choice, it became its own problem.
And this is the part that's so crucial to understand. Picking one of these packages isn't just a small technical task for a developer anymore. When you choose a library, you are placing a bet on its quality, its security, and its long-term support. If you choose the wrong one, it can create a ripple effect that messes with the entire future of your system. It's not tech anymore. It's a strategic business decision.
Getting through this maze of decisions is, it's incredibly tough. If we're helping you make sense of the map so far, do us a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more explainers that cut right through the noise. It really helps us out.
Okay, so now let's go a little deeper into the maze and talk about the dangers you can't see, the ones that have very real and very damaging consequences.
At the very heart of all this is something we can call invisible security. See, every single time you add an external package, you're basically inviting code you didn't write into your house, into your system. And you've got to ask yourself, can you really, truly trust it?
And these risks, they're not just about hackers. Sure, the danger could be malicious code, but it's often way more subtle than that. It could be a little bit of instability that just crashes your system at the worst possible time. Or a poor design that creates a tangled mess for the next person. Or, and this one's a classic, the package just gets abandoned by its creators, leaving you totally stranded.
And all these issues, they all lead to a place that every developer knows and dreads, version hell. It's that place where just managing all these interconnected pieces becomes a constant, painful struggle.
And it creates this impossible choice. If you update a package to get the latest features and security fixes, you run the risk of breaking everything else it's connected to. But if you don't update, you keep things stable for now, but you're leaving your system wide open to known security holes. It's a classic catch-22. You're stuck.
Feeling a bit trapped right now? Don't worry, there is a way out of this, and we're about to light up the path. To make sure you don't miss future guides that help you untangle the complex world of tech, just take a quick second to subscribe.
All right, we've seen the problem, we've felt the pain, now let's talk about the solution. It is time to finally tame this maze. The first thing you have to get your head around is this. The more flexibility and choice you have, the higher your management cost is going to be. It's that simple. Java's freedom was amazing for development speed, but it came with a price tag, making everything much, much harder to control. Just accepting that fact is the first step.
So, how do we actually do this? Well, there are 3 key steps to taking back control. First, you've got to be ruthless about minimizing the number of external packages you use. Less is always more. Second, stop choosing packages on a whim. Create clear rules for how you pick them.
Look at things like a package's security track record, how often it gets updated, and how strong its community is. And third, you have to make this an ongoing thing. Build a system to constantly and safely check and update your dependencies.
And this brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from all of this. This whole problem, it's not just a job for your IT department anymore. Managing this complexity is now a core business skill. It's an organizational decision-making power that separates the successful teams from the ones who are just lost in the maze.
So, the final question is for you. This maze, it's not going anywhere. In fact, it's only getting more complex. The real choice is whether your team is going to be consumed by it or if you're going to build the skills to control it. And honestly, that decision, it's going to define your future.